Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. I am upstairs by the computer, restarting and installing a Mac update. Hopefully this thing doesn't take forever, because I want to get to work. One thing I was realizing, I put part of the strut in the wrong spot. There's the neck, the inferior sagittal neck joint. It's the round joint that goes right here. I have the strut coming in on top of it, and it's kind of sticking up high, which is kind of goofy looking and isn't very streamlined. So what I realized I need to switch is I need to bring that strut from going onto the top of that joint to the bottom of that joint, for the deep part, and then the superficial part will kind of come up into the side a little bit. But I'm gonna do that. I almost got out of bed last night to do it, but I didn't. It's very early. It's like 8 o'clock, which is pretty early for me. I usually wake up around 8:30, get like working around 9, so I'm up like a full hour before. It's because I went to bed early last night because I was tired, because I've been working like crazy, and now I'm up. So welcome to vlog number 60. Alright guys, it is 12:31 on May 29th, Wednesday, May 29th, and I have finished the struts of the torso. So I'm done with the skeleton. Now all I have to do is add the foam and the, there it is right there, the foam and the skin to it. So those, and then I'm building those off of this file. So this file is not being changed anymore. It's fucking done. And then I'm bringing this file into another file. I mean, it might change a little bit. Like I might put some holes in it in order to add foam and stuff, but I'm not building really anything else onto it. The only thing I would add to it is some mounting points. I already have some of them on there, but I might change them around a little bit. But it should be fucking done now. I mean, this part's done. Let me show it to you guys. It's pretty cool. Alright guys, here we are. I have it shaded so you can kind of see it. I have this set to mirror, so it's more mirrored. You see there is the struts going around. There's the struts going up. They bolt in. All that is working really well. Here on the back, you can see I have one of those caps in that I talked about. If you look in there even more. Yeah, there we go. You can see in the cap, the bolts are recessed over here, and then over here you can, or the nuts are recessed over here, and then here the bolts are going in. There's also nuts in this back cap right here, so that's on the outside, so it's going to be made out of plastic, and it's domed, so it'll be nice and pretty and smooth, and you can see how everything is smooth. And then the goal is, when this is actually made, to like fill this in with some metal weldment, and then sand it down and polish it so it'll be completely mirror smooth. All of these points in here will kind of disappear because those will then be polished. There'll be bolts going in there. Some of those will be bolts. The bolts obviously won't go away, even though they'll be stainless steel and shiny themselves. But all the parts that fit into it will go away because I'm gonna put it together and then polish those parts too. So those are all polished. So everything will be polished and beautiful. And then there's going to be a skin going across this, so this will be covered. Up here, I'm not entirely sure how I'm gonna do it, but there is going to be a part that comes over the top from the shoulder, so that'll kind of go in. So this kind of won't be as noticeable. I may end up changing this if I end up doing a draft 3. This may be something that I try to revisit and change. So I'm not entirely sure how this is going together, but you can see I have both the deep and superficial one in there, and it's fucking done. And I did it on draft 4, so it took 4 drafts to get this done. Hopefully that won't happen on the next ones. Hopefully, like, I'm gonna go to the pelvis next. I'm probably going to do the foam today and the skin and completely finish it, and I'll show you guys that as well. So I had to do that, but then hopefully do the pelvis down there and start getting on that. But hopefully I won't have to do 4 fucking drafts of that, because essentially it'll be a lot of the same shit as this. I literally may even be able to use this exact part on there, and I already plan to use this exact part on there, and also the muscle thing. So I already have a lot of it done. So there is a chance that this is actually going to start speeding up and not take 10 fucking days to get this done. But it's pretty exciting, huh? Pretty cool. I just ran, saunaed, and showered, and I feel fucking amazing right now. This is my little goofy UV sauna. It gets hot by UV rays. Only gets up to 140 degrees, and it usually doesn't even get that high. But I feel great. I feel fucking great. Turned the shower on cold, got in there. Oh yeah, I feel fucking loose. I feel fucking great right now. And we got the fucking struts done. Fuck yeah! Alright, check this out. If you look right down here, this is like not going to be the final version. I was just kind of doing some experimentation. But you see that? That's going to be kind of like the foam support thingamabob in there. Let me show you how I'm thinking it's going to work. So if I take this, turn that off, there's the foam. And the way this worked was I made this sketch and I pulled all the parts through. So I took them and I made solid parts that came up from this sketch. And then I made this sketch right here, all these lines coming across. So I drew a line here and then drew a line there. And then I made a projection of it down below like that. And then I made a plane
right there and right there. And then I put sketches onto those, which were that sketch and that sketch. So it's like a smaller version of that. Boom, right? Okay, and then I used a tool to make a loft from that face to that face like that. And so a loft looks like this. It's a tool, so you see how that is moving through it like that, and I cut those out. So that way they're all kind of coming. Well, the problem is if I just did a flat sketch, just I took this and pulled it through, it wouldn't be all facing into my body like that. You know, they'd all be going one direction if I just took this and pulled it forward. But by lofting it, did it that way. And then this is kind of a time-consuming thing. I mean, it didn't take that long, and this was just a little quick one. But the idea is that it'd be kind of like a combination of both of these things. So remember these guys, these are the 3D printed flexible filament that I use. So this is like one that I made squares and then just did like pretty much full infill on them. And then this one was a solid like cube that was then done like 20% infill, which is a setting you do in 3D printing if you know what that is. So it gives it a so it's not solid, 100% solid. It's only 20% solid, and it gives it a little squishiness. So I initially liked, and this was a thicker one. I initially liked these more. This one's a little bit more sturdy, but it would essentially be like a combination of these two. So you'd have the solid one would be kind of like in there, but then this entire thing would be kind of acting like this right here. So you kind of be getting both at once. It's the idea anyway. All right, you can see here, I'm kind of fucking around. This is the part of the back. I kind of cut down all this, which I didn't really need to, but I did it anyway, because I've just been essentially fucking around on draft one of the torso support. So that's going to be the foam, even though it's not really foam. It's going to be 3D printed rubber. Anyway, this is going on right now. So what I'm going to do is I've got this mostly on the back. You can see my back's not even, because this is symmetric, and obviously my back is not. Like I said, I'm not a very even person, apparently. Anyway, I'm going to take this, and then I'm going to cut out this pattern right here, which is the pattern of the chest plate, or the back plate, rather, and then fill this form in, and then I'll have like a solid model that I can then turn into a foam and turn into like a mesh, cut out the holes in it for the mesh, which is probably going to be honeycomb. Something like this. Isn't this cool? Look at that. Yeah, that's neat, huh? Obviously this is rough, and there's a bunch of stuff in here that needs to go on here that's not on here. And then this would be then 3D printed with not a solid infill. So this itself would not be like solid rubber, like this hard one. This one is solid rubber, but the holes in there are really small. The holes on this are 0.8 inches, or they're 0.8 inches from side to side on one of those. And then this is like 1.2 inch. So this is much smaller. The thickness is, actually I think the thickness on this is, the thickness from between two of this is about 0.28. This is about, well, it's almost, yeah, that's what I thought. On the thicker end, it's almost exactly, it's 2.6. So this is very near to how thick, like, in between the webs will be. And then we're looking at a thickness of 1.5, which is going to be quite a bit longer than this. Is about 0.5. Yeah, so it's about this thick, but it'll be a little, and it varies all the way through. So probably in some spots, let's pick a thin spot here, 0.4. So in the thinnest spot, it'll be very close, a little bit thinner than this. So anyway, what I was going to test is, that's about how much squish you're going to get. That'll be about how it feels just all over in a mesh. It'll be about like squishing that. I don't know about you guys, but I think this foam thing is pretty damn cool. I think the other option, if that doesn't work, would be to 3D print it out of plastic and then use 3D print a mold out of plastic and then pour something into it. If I had to do it that way, but I really think I can get it with the 3D print. So like the Ninja Flex, which is what I'm using, is supposed to be hard to print with. I know it is a little bit funky to print with, but hopefully I can figure it out and get it working. I mean, I got those little squares printed pretty well, and I think generally it'll be easier to print larger pieces than smaller pieces. In fact, what I might have issues with is actually being able to fit the entire thing on there. So what I have to do, if I can't, is section it into pieces and then print parts and then somehow put them back together. I usually use super glue, but that might not be good with a flexible material, but there's other materials I can use as well. So I'd have to section it into pieces and put it together in the back. Like that I think that might happen on the back and on the chest. I don't know, that's a pretty small piece, actually. Now that would, because it's in two different pieces. So it's like, there's like one piece here, like one piece here. God, this thing is so much smaller than I think it is. It looks bigger on my thing, because it's actually, you know, it's probably close. to that size right there. Honestly, it might be a little bit bigger than that, but that will almost fit on my 3D printer, because it doesn't even go all the way up my back. It stops like, I don't know. I mean, it's not a huge piece. We can probably get it in one piece. At the most, we'd probably have to cut it into 2 pieces. But it's definitely, I think it's doable. I think it's pretty cool, man. That'll look cool. And then I'm gonna sew together like a really thin, kind of like the liner of a tennis shoe, like of a material like that, fabric like that, and then make essentially boxes that would go around, and that'll allow it to slide and be comfortable against my skin. Unlike, I don't want nasty rubber against my skin, and I also don't want it to peel from the friction and start to cause layer separation. This will give it a piece of fabric and kind of hold it all together. And then and I'm going to do it off a pretty thin fabric, and maybe even something, if I can, that's a little bit see-through, so you can see it on the inside, so it looks fucking cool if you see it, like, oh, what's that space age shit, and touch it. That's kind of what I want. As you can tell, I'm in a much better mood today because I actually fucking got the struts done, which is great, and I have started to fuck with the support on the inside. So I'm going to sleep on it now and think about it, and in the morning, I'm going to really figure out how I want to start doing the support on that. And then after I do the support, then I have to do the skin, and then I'm done with the torso. So I'm still not even done with the torso, but I'm sort of done with the torso. I'm probably done with the hard part of the torso. Hard part. I'm done with the most precise part of the torso. The rest is going to be a little bit more like modeling-ish, kind of, sort of a little bit, and building stuff off of the stuff that I've already made really precise. In theory. We'll see if that actually happens. Check in tomorrow. We got cool shit coming. Imagine how this thing is going to look when it's done. This is going to be the dopest looking thing I think anyone's ever seen, ever. 100%. That's 100% true. Like and subscribe if you haven't already and you're watching this for the first time. You guys are awesome. Have a great night.